The examiner's and observer's function summary in emotional scan.
Early detection of mental health issues is critical for improving outcomes and preventing chronicity. Through regular screening, awareness, education, and support, individuals can identify potential mental health issues early and seek help. You, your family, and friends are not alone in this challenging journey. The fundamental role of the emotional scan examiner is to evaluate the emotional fingerprint of the volunteer at the interview and diagnose the current situation relative to the specific interview type selected.
The emotional fingerprint consolidates automated metrics and the manual evaluation of the volunteer, including the scoring by the examiner, that integrates a complete diagnosis without bias. The Diagnose and Evaluate module is a working space where the examiner analyzes the sessions recorded by the volunteer and scores the manual assessment of the good volunteer for each question. The key performance indicators at the question and session levels allow the examiner to drill down and carry out a volunteer's detailed assessment.
Now let's review in detail how the examiner should execute the function. There are 3 sources of emotional data. First, facial microexpressions, second, voice phonetics, and third, transcripts. The emotional scan, 3 main metrics are positive versus negative emotions, second, the trust factor, which measures positive versus negative emotions from the hard questions against the soft, and finally, the danger alert, which represents anger versus other emotions, all critical elements in the evaluation process.
Human perception is crucial when the examiner evaluates the good volunteer score on the scroll bar in 5 positions. The examiner can evaluate trends and patterns of the hard questions with the help of alerts triggered by an automated algorithm at the question and session levels. An alert or warning indicates to the examiner that further review of the question video recording and related metrics is required. Additional and complementary questions are recommended for deeper research and a fair evaluation.
We recommend that this assessment be executed at the question level, and the results will be automatically reflected in the Diagnose and Evaluate module. Another key function for the examiner to evaluate is the honesty score, in 10 questions, based on checkpoints from the micro-expressions of the eyes and face, verbal and body language, and the volunteer's circumstances that calculate the probability that the volunteer has been honest. The interview, climate section does not require evaluating each of the 30 questions, but rather the examiner's assessment of the climate categories and the values based on the key metrics. At the end of the Diagnose and Evaluate session, the examiner can capture the results of other tests performed on the volunteer to evaluate the exam's overall impact.
Emotional scan is a central repository of other interviews that improves and supports a better diagnosis. The examiner evaluates the volunteer skills that will update the Emotional Fingerprint module as support information. The examiner and observers recommend the volunteer emotional stage and leave their comments.
Emotional scan is the perfect equation since it uses artificial intelligence plus hard data metrics and the examiner's human perception to diagnose and review alerts in the volunteer interview that can improve its mental health and solve critical issues.
It was built for the world's best coaches and therapists. You can help others diagnose and improve their life by recommending Emotional Scan. You can find a detailed written process to execute the examiner role in our webpage setup and onboarding section in 12 different languages. Do you feel overwhelmed by your emotions? If you need counseling, you are in a crisis, or want to improve, just perform a simple remote video interview and scientifically diagnose emotions to improve people's lives.